escalation 3. Conflict tends to progress from one place to another when the stakeholders become more aware of the conflict of interest and how to act. Then they mobilize themselves and take advantage of the conflict. So we are going to look at the various stages of conflict. The first one is the formation stage. This is the first stage of conflict whereby a problem emerges and acts or things or situation whereby previously ignored or taken for granted now turns into a serious issue. The obvious antagonism that comes with this is that most of the parties involved in this conflict at this stage may not be aware that they are even conflicting themselves. They might be pursuing different goals at different places without being aware that two of them are contending the same thing. The second one is the escalation stage. The escalation stage is when the problem is not solved in the formation stage. When the problem is not linked out in the formation stage, it escalates. Now, these people now know that they are now sworn enemies, and they now bring down martial art arsenals to counter themselves, to attack themselves. People begin to take sides, positions begin to rise, communication stops, perception becomes distorted, and parties begin to commit resources to defend their position. Leaders begin to make inflammatory public statements regarding their position, and riots and street demonstration intensify. Then the crisis stage. This is where the escalation stage reaches to a full-blown crisis. Now it becomes obvious that we are contending. Now, one thing that comes with this stage is that there will be the location of territories. This party will say this is our territory and do whatsoever to defend their territory. The other party will look at this territory and say this is our territory and do whatsoever to do what? To defend their territory. A horizontal effect is that it leads to breakdown of law and order. Another one is this escalation stage. This is the stage which each party is in the conflict begin to experience gradual suspicion of hostility arising from conflict readiness, hunger, and sanction. The escalation stage happens when you've used all your resources in fighting. You are in short, you are tired of fighting. Because you are tired of fighting, to an extent you resist you pump into the conflict. You are drained. At this time, you don't even need a third party to bring you to ask you to come down. On your own, you start piping down. Then the next one is the improvement stage. This is where stakeholders in the conflict begin to have a rethink. Shouldn't we have done this in a different way? Shouldn't we have solved this problem in a different way? They now start shifting ground. People start making compromise. At the point, start making calls for peaceful resolution. The next one is the transformation stage. At this stage, all causes of the conflict has somehow been removed or shifted. Reconciliation has occurred, and the outcome of the reconciliation is what we now call the transformation. This is usually a very difficult stage because for you to get to the transformation stage, it needs that the both parties will have to make a lot of compromise. And that compromise is something that is usually difficult, but it is something that is quite achievable anyway. No, go back. Then we're going to look at the conflict cycle, where we're going to look at from the latent to the manifest to the contained and to the mitigated and resolved. Next slide. The latent phase is just like the formation stage. It is where the parties start wars, two people contending for the same thing. The manifest stage is like the escalation stage. It is similar with the escalation stage, where people are bringing out their arsenals and waiting for anything to happen. Then the violent stage is the same thing with the crisis stage, like I explained earlier. The escalation phase is also a situation where they are getting worried. The battle is blown, and after blowing and putting their resources, investing their resources, they get worried. The content stage is a phase where they are now trying to contain themselves, because they know that if they fight this war from now to whatever time, their goal will not really be achieved. The last one is the one we call mitigated stage. At this stage, they are looking at ways, they are having everything, change of strategy. We could have solved this problem without really going to a full-blown war. This leads to the next stage, which we call the resolution stage. The resolution stage is still similar to what I called earlier the transformation stage, where we now look at removing the causes of the conflict and making amends. Compromises are also known. Styles of handling conflict. We're going to look at two styles of handling conflict. The first one is the assertiveness. This describes the essence to which an individual tends to satisfy just his needs and consent. The cooperativeness is a system, or when the individual involved is at the same time trying to do what satisfies him, but at the same time satisfy the needs of the other person. That's why we use the word cooperative. The assertiveness is talking about satisfying my own needs, just my own need and my consent. But the cooperativeness is talking about, in a sense that I'm trying to satisfy my own need, I'm trying to satisfy the need of the other person. Another one is dominating competing. This takes place when an individual is very assertive but not cooperative. It is the same thing as the assertiveness. I am looking for a way to satisfy but achieve my goal. I'm looking for a way to achieve the objectives I've set out. I'm not looking out for anybody. I'm not being cooperative. That is why it is called dominating and competing. Your own game is to dominate the affairs, to compete and to be at the head of the affairs. You're not trying to move along with anybody. That one is the one that goes, that's when we say that somebody lacks team spirit. The other one is the accommodating. You are unassertive, you are cooperative. This style is a system where you are not really interested in your own, to satisfy your own. So you are interested more in accommodating the needs of the others to make sure that the concern of these people are being what? Are being satisfied. That's when we say something. That's when we say somebody is selfless. The next one is avoidance. You are unassertive. You are uncooperative. You are not pursuing any concern. You are not interested in pursuing any concern. You are not even pursuing for your own. You are not even pursuing for the other person. The other one is the collaboration. Under this dimension, you are both assertive and cooperative. The collaboration is talking about trying to do what? Achieve your own goal, and at the same time achieve the goal of the next person. Then the last one is the compromising. You are partially assertive and partially cooperative. In the compromising in the sense that you know that if you want to achieve everything you want to achieve, definitely you are going to step on this push. So what you do is to carry yourself along, make compromises while the other person makes compromises. Based on the above discussion, it is now crystal clear that it is important to know the stages or phases of conflict progression. So help you to ascertain the steps to be taken in prevention of the conflict escalation and managing approaches. And approaches to be adopted in managing the conflict that are at different stages or phases of conflict cycle.